Playboi Carti is not a lyrical rapper. He doesn't have the intricate rhyme schemes of an MF Doom, nor the visceral storytelling of a Kendrick Lamar, and while his lyrics are sometimes abstract, they aren't abstract like the dense lyricism of a Lupe Fiasco. Carti's lyrics are repetitive, so repetitive and delivered in such unorthodox ways that their meaning as words melt away. When listening to Carti's music, it makes more sense to think of his voice as another instrument, adding interesting new timbres, melodies, and vibes to a track. What he's actually saying doesn't really matter. Or at least, that's how the standard narrative goes. And that narrative is wrong. Well, at least the last part about his words not mattering. So today, I want to take a closer look at some of his lyrics and read them as poetry. So we won't be listening to any Carti today, sorry for getting your hopes up. And in particular, I want to focus on his use of the literary technique of repetition in a couple of his songs off his most recent album, Whole Lotta Red. But wait, I hear you ask, how can repetition past like 2 or 3 times make something more meaningful? Carti repeats the same bar like 5 to 15 times in a row sometimes. Does that really do anything? And to answer that question, let's start off with the first song off Whole Lotta Red, Rockstar Made. Whole Lotta Red is Carti's third major project and second studio album, so he's probably heard all sorts of complaints about his style already. In Rockstar Made, he comes out the gate swinging with homicide, 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 lines about fucking his bitch in a car, lines about his wealth and being in love with drugs. In doing so, he rejects these criticisms and further leans into his repetitive, spontaneous style. Punctuating these lines are the repeated refrains of Never Too Much and Rockstar Made. With the repetitions of Rockstar Made, he embraces the excesses of sex, money, drugs, and violence, the worst stereotypes and tropes of rap, and identifies them with rock rather than rap. And a lot can be said about how that line makes ironic, racist double standards, but I want to focus more on the never too much. On its surface, Never Too Much is Carti explicitly affirming his love for the rockstar lifestyle. But with 46 repetitions, the line comes to refer to more than just the song's contents. Each repeat of Never Too Much risks losing its meaning as a unique bar and slouches towards becoming interchangeable with every other Never Too Much. But Carti avoids this Sorites paradox by having each element of the heap literally be Never Too Much. Considered as a collection, the 46 Never Too Muches declare the insufficiency of considering them as a collection, instead forcing us to acknowledge that not only is each instance of Never Too Much uniquely meaningful, but also that the other phrases he repeats throughout the album are likewise never too much. So through this repetition, Carti makes explicit what literary theorist Roland Barthes calls the plurality of text. That is, when reading a text, rather than searching for a single ultimate interpretation, we should instead understand the text as a web of almost infinite possible meaning contained within the same set of words. And with this established, we can move on to the next song I want to talk about, Stop Breathing.
Wake up, filthy.
This is one of my favorites off the album. It takes the violent intensity of Rockstar Made and cranks it up to another level. It's also one of the most poetically complex tracks on the album, surpassing even the ironies of Rockstar Made. Stop Breathing starts with the word breathing repeated 3 times, immediately heralding an interplay between life and death. From here, Carti launches into the chorus, I took my shirt off and all the hoes stopped breathing, which he repeats a couple of times. These repetitions invite us to break down each element of the line and uncover multiple meanings, so let's do that. Taking off the shirt signals sexuality, further supported by the hoes not breathing, presumably gasping in awe at Carti's beauty. But shirt off can also represent a rejection of the constraints of society and a return to a primal state, one where flesh and blood, the very stuff of life, is not concealed by constructs and artifice as represented by the shirt. The phrase, stop breathing, beyond emphasizing Carti's sexual power, might also signify terror and as well as death, contrasting with the opening lines of breathing. In affirming his life in a primordial manner via taking off his shirt, in performing, Carti simultaneously simulates a massacre, taking the breath away from the hoes. Life and death, reality and performance are all at play here. The hoes themselves, of course, are the final element to be considered. They represent a feminine beauty, complement and opposite to Carti's masculine. That they, objects of desire, are killed in a virtual massacre suggests that killing is desirable, cathartic even. But simultaneously, Carti reciprocally acts as the object of desire in the eyes of the hoes, making out dying to be seemingly equally desirable. After this refrain, Carti follows up with the bridge of exaggerated breathing. Here, the performance ceases to be a representation of reality and becomes reality. The word breathing in the opening is replaced by literal breathing. After this bridge, he reveals what the song is really about. Ever since my brother died, ever since my brother died, I've been thinking about homicide. I've been thinking about homicide. Here, the pairing of lines forces us to consider their dual nature as both art and reality, virtual and literal. The cycles of violence, hatred, and revenge, as much as they are exaggerated for the sake of art and rap, are also manifestations of true circumstance. The virtual massacre of performance is also recontextualized as a substitute for the actual violence Carti can and perhaps will inflict. This song is a diss towards Ola Runt, someone responsible for the death of Carti's brother, and in the song, Carti even mentions having Ola shanked on his behalf. And it's with this blurring of the virtual and real, the word breathing transformed into actual breath, that this diss transforms into a threat. One day soon, Carti implies, my ops will stop breathing. The last song I want to look at is one of the most enigmatic pieces Carti has created. Jump Out the House has exactly 8 unique lines, which is minimalist even by Carti standards. The bulk of the song is made up of the chorus, which consists of the lines "Jump out the house" repeated over and over, followed by "Jump out that bitch" repeated over and over. Once again, the repetition invites us to view both the house and the bitch as multivalent symbols. Are the house and the bitch one and the same? What are the differences? One of the lines in the verse is, "Rax, I'm talking about my motherfucking bitch," which complicates this further. Carti reveals the ambiguity and duplicity of his wordplay. Rax, usually referring to money, in this case refers to boobs. Or maybe not. Remember, bitch here is equated with house, and each of these symbols have even more unique connotative implications. Rax and bitch potentially take on many possible readings. And so, revealed through repetition is the unending network of possible meanings Carti places in a single, simple line. To jump out the house means a willingness to abandon the familiar and escape into an unstructured wilderness of meaning. It is to enter the interstitial world between nature and artifice, between reality and fiction, between rapper and rockstar. With the simple act of repetition, Carti dissolves all boundaries. Before we wrap up, I want to talk about some of the limitations of doing this sort of analysis, especially for an artist like Playboi Carti. Firstly, rap music is, well, music. Analyzing music like poetry can offer some valuable insights, especially for rap since it's a uniquely poetic form of lyricism, but doing so still misses out on all the other aspects of rap. As I talked about in the intro, Carti is an artist who really likes to play with the sound of his voice as much as he does his word. He pioneered the use of the baby voice on his first album, and in Whole Lotta Red, he makes use of a lot of guttural yells and harsh ad-libs. To disregard his cadence and delivery misses a lot of the artistry. And this isn't even considering the beat as well. How does it complement the lyrics? Does it contrast ironically? How does the rapper flow on the beat? This adds yet another dimension of complexity I didn't even consider. On a more meta level, even to this day, in the year of our Lord 2023, rap music is often looked down upon or considered lesser than other forms of music. And a lot of this is straight up due to racism. Of course, you don't have to like rap music, but to hate a genre as complex and diverse as rap, with probably as many styles within it as there are styles of singing, is a little bit weird to say the least. While a more academic style of analysis like this might help someone understand the artistry behind even the seemingly simple lyricism of someone like Carti, The academization of rap has its own problems. The YouTuber Tirrrb talks about this idea of black relativity and how black art and black culture is often taken and decontextualized by hegemonic power structures, then sanitized and repackaged and commodified for a white audience. And while this video isn't technically part of academia, it's not a paper in a journal or anything, it still uses theoretical frameworks which are most prevalent within academia. And like with so many other facets of culture, academia historically has been yet another institution which reinforces white supremacy through exclusion of black people, black art, and black knowledge, especially when they don't conform to white supremacist structures. Academic analyses of hip-hop can, therefore, often be at odds with the culture, which values authenticity, experience, and localness, things which are impossible to have through merely study of the art from the outside. So, as an outsider looking in, I hope this video serves not as an end where Carti's music is somehow validated through this sort of analysis, but rather as a new beginning, a different way to look at Carti's music, which adds to rather than dismisses the simple act of listening. So the next time you put on Whole Lotta Red or Dial It or his self-titled mixtape, think about what he's saying, because Carti really is an incredible poet. So yeah, that's the video. And if you made it all the way up to this point, I just want to thank you for watching, because these things take so much effort to put together. Anyways, now that I'm done, slopping Carti up for the past 10 minutes, I get slander him a little bit. Where's Narcissist? Where's music? Where's Whole Lotta Red Deluxe? Why do I have to make this video on a 3-year-old album? Anyways, if you liked the video, hit the like button. If you didn't like it, hit the dislike button. Thanks for watching.